Council Roundup. What is it again? Yeah, let's do it. What is it? Yeah. All right.
Now it's time. Greg Bishop and the Council Roundup.
Where each and every week we give you a review of what happened at the Springfield City Council. Typically, they meet on Tuesdays, alternating between a city council and a committee of the whole each week. Yesterday was Wednesday. Why they delayed the meeting this week from Tuesday to Wednesday, obvious. They had an election on Tuesday. So we're here on a Thursday. Not typical, but when they have their meetings postponed, we still cover with the Council Roundup, brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Their downtown location open for lunch, Head West Subs. So let's get right on into it. Of course, this is happening with the prospect of a new mayor that's going to be seated soon at the Springfield City Council. And let's get right on into it. Opening up, though, with a remembrance of an official who, former official who passed away recently. Here is Alderman Chuck Redpath giving a bit of a moment of silence.
Mayor, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence, please, for Mary Pat Madonia. She was married to Tom Madonia, obviously alderman from Ward 1, and she served as the alderman after his passing. She passed away yesterday. I'd like to ask for a moment of silence.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that moment of silence being honored, but then they got right on into city business, where you have Alderman McMiniman and Alderman Gregory. They were trying to decide whether or not to bring an ordinance out of committee that would have allowed for the city to have a certain threshold of when liens for debts would be allotted. And here's some of that back and forth, how it played out last night.
055, so I'll make a motion for passage.
But they couldn't get somebody else to chime in and go ahead and make that happen.
It's something I'm passionate about, and I don't want to make this a big deal right now, because it will be a big deal.
Okay, I thought you had the opposite opinion 10 minutes ago, so I'll withdraw.
It wasn't 10 minutes ago. You said some should go on to the next council or the next mayor.
I think that was a different...
This would be the same thing. It relates to it.
Okay, that's fine.
All right,
so you've got this idea of a new mayor coming in after Tuesday's election, and there are several big issues that they want to postpone for the next administration to have to deal with. But they then moved on to other issues. And next up is an issue dealing with tax increment financing and a new project that they're wanting to implement.
121, an ordinance approving the tax increment redevelopment plan and project for the Adirondack TIF redevelopment project area. Chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2023-121 on final passage.
So moved.
And that is the process of putting together a new TIF district for a development that they're hoping to get across the finish line here soon. Here's more details about that from Corporation Counsel Jim Zirkle.
This is currently in the downtown TIF district. This is actually taking just that limited parcel out,
right,
and then creating the new one that's just for that small area and dedicated to the Adirondack project only.
So the mayor, he talks about the overall process and how this is going to play out, because there are multiple ordinances that have to be ultimately issued here. And you've got Mayor Jim Langfelder chiming in.
First one does take it out of the district. Next one that we'll read in is with regards to the plan project, and then the next one is regarding the area. So this one is to take it out of the area, or the district rather, downtown district.
I'll make the motion to pass, Mayor.
Again, the mayor chiming in there to kind of lay out the process, but some alder people had concerns of creating new districts, new TIF districts that could draw dollars away from other projects within that district. Here is Alderman Ralph Hanauer chiming in.
First one does take it out of the district. Next one that we'll read in.
That would have been Alderman Hanauer, but here's Alderman Hanauer with his statements.
The idea of the TIF was to get other people to take part in that TIF, and as we start pulling things out, there could be a potential I think we need to look at setting some rules of how many we're going to allow, because we don't want the downtown TIF all of a sudden, we've already got obligations on that. And I'm sorry I didn't talk about it before, but it just kind of hit me. We got obligations on that TIF, and we start taking pieces out that potentially could have built that TIF up, we could find ourselves in some financial trouble.
And this project deals with a developer wanting to come in and essentially say, we're going to take a parking lot and turn it into some residential and some mixed-use retail as well. Alderman Joe McMiniman chiming in here on the importance of this project moving forward by creating a new TIF within a TIF that would just draw from the new created TIF for the project.
This is an area that's been vacant, unimproved, a flat parking lot at best for, I think it's 20 years. So actually we're creating something for the long future that will create value for the long-term life of the new structure. But then in addition to that, what you're trying to do is create increment surrounding that development so that the surrounding properties gain market value, and you attract residents, you attract shoppers, you attract restaurants, etc. So it's a long-term approach.
Alderman Donnellan, he also chimes in here about his thoughts on what's next to happen with this particular project and the importance of it moving forward so that you can have a better understanding of how this development's going to piece together.
The good thing is that the risk is on the developer.
Right.
And if the project's not successful, guess what? The developer doesn't get any rebate or reimbursement. So
yeah, it's obviously all the risk being on the developer, meaning that if they don't increase the increments of the taxes there, then they're not going to get any of that kickback. Alderwoman DeCenso, she's not a fan of TIFs and has been pushing back against them for a bit and points to people to do their research about it.
California has outlawed TIFs for a reason. Targeted TIFs, I mean, how many TIFs have we approved in the past 6 years since I've been sitting here?
Yeah.
Quite a few. That's why I'm voting no on any future TIFs, and I stopped voting for TIFs a few years ago. So please do your own research. Don't listen to me. See what's going on and what other states are doing and why they're not doing TIFs anymore.
And she says California in particular is postponing TIF districts and actually getting rid of TIF districts. Let's hear from Alderwoman Conley about this issue, about creating a new TIF district and some of the other particulars when it comes to developments in Springfield.
I think it needs to be highlighted that this was something that we passed for a reason. We included in the redevelopment agreement for a reason, and the developer probably needs to have a little more incentive to sit down and get that PLA
project
addressed.
labor agreement.
Well, that's a stipulation we can make in the redevelopment agreement, but I think it's there. But Corporate Counsel, would you like to elaborate?
Yeah, you may recall that the redevelopment agreement was addressed, I think, at some length. I think the gentleman was here. This is more the logistical part of establishing the TIF district itself. The requirements under the redevelopment agreement still exist. In other words, they cannot receive funds if they don't comply with that.
So, of course, the point being made by Alderman Donnellan being reiterated by the Corporation Council. Here is Alderwoman Purchase, who won re-election on Tuesday, talking about how the overall project is coming together and her support for the project.
But I know that Alderman Williams has constantly been asking what is the minority participation goal. So I was waiting to have that conversation too. But maybe this is a time to just put it on a pause and bring it back forward once we talk to him.
And the mayor chiming in here as well, making sure that he's heard on where this is going, where it's headed.
The issue with this is a time-sensitive one. And again, what Alderman McMiniman had stated, this is a vacated property for decades, and it's all you have to do is, it's in the developer's agreement, the project cannot proceed without the PLA.
So, again, some backstops there to make sure that things aren't done improperly. More from the mayor from yesterday at the Springfield City Council meeting.
And this is a 130 market rate driven apartment complex with a commercial space on the first floor that would serve the medical district. And Ryan McCrady's in the audience, so he could speak to the importance of that, which has their backing as well.
And ultimately, the measure was approved, and you can see the vote if you're following along online.
The ordinance passes as amended, 6 voting yes, 1 voting no, and 2 voting present. Thank you very much.
So it passes. All right. Next up, we'll hear about an ordinance that was brought up before about financial disclosures and other things. And then we will get into the conversation about what to do with the Wyndham City Center with the owner of the Wyndham City Center there to raise his concerns with what he says is not the most welcoming business environment when it comes to development. But he's also looking to get, like $19 million in tax increment finance funds for the project at the Wyndham City Center. So we'll get to that in some detail here on WMAY. It is the Council Roundup brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Got to turn my microphone up. Back with the Council Roundup, Springfield's Morning News. Council Roundup brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Their downtown location open for lunch, also open for lunch on Saturdays, and don't forget about delivery. We're reviewing last night's Springfield City Council meeting, and there was several things that were brought up weeks ago that are being postponed for the next mayor to touch on when they are inaugurated, so we'll get to that. But one issue was what kinds of financial disclosures there should be of city officials. That was an ordinance brought up last night, but they tabled it.
Relating to disclosures required of all city officials and those candidates for elected office. Chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2023-128 on final passage.
Motion to table.
Second.
Oh.
Been moved and seconded to tables or discussion?
Yes.
Alderman
No
Redpath?
discussion.
No discussion on table.
Oh.
No discussion on table.
Yep, a motion to place on the table is not debatable, so the rules require you to proceed directly to a vote.
Well, look at that.
To table or just to?
To table.
Okay.
Yep.
And to
Roll
table
call vote,
means
please.
essentially
Well, we just
throw it away.
go off the machine.
Alderman
We're not gonna touch
Redpath.
it again.
Aye.
Alderman Gregory.
Nay.
Oh, wow.
Alderman Williams.
So they go through that process,
Alderman
and
Fulgenzi.
you can see, of course, how they're going to vote on this, and it kind of also spells out the various
That's
kinds of politics
President.
within the city council
That's
chamber.
tabled,
So fascinating to see that's being tabled,
yes.
something to allow for some more disclosure. All right, so coming back, we will hear from the owner of the Wyndham City Center, who was at the Springfield City Council last night to address a variety of things and a lot debated. So we'll get to that coming up. You don't want to miss it here with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Continuing on with the Council Roundup, it is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. I'm Greg Bishop, and we've got the Council Roundup brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. You're asking yourself, it's Thursday morning, Bishop, what the heck? Hey, I know, they delayed the council meeting from Tuesday night to Wednesday night, which means Wednesday morning we do Council Roundup a day delayed on Thursday morning, so deal with it, all right? But anyways, let's get to it. A lot of discussion about the Wyndham City Center last night, dominating debates. They had the owner there, Al Rajabi, to address city aldermen, and he had a lot to say. So let's go ahead and get right on into it.
So today I missed my son's T-ball game because I got a call yesterday that said to me that I need to be here today. Otherwise, you weren't going to vote on the partnership agreement that we're looking to put together. So as I landed in Dallas, I get a call that tells me that, hey, look, no, we changed our mind. They want to wait till the new mayor takes over.
And that's what apparently city aldermen are looking to do. Al Rajabi continues on to talk with Springfield aldermen about his perspective in all of this.
You guys wanted to have 250 hotel rooms. I heard you very loud and clear. And I said, you know what? I cannot get financing for big box hotel. It's just not possible. As you all know, banks are failing left and right. They're in trouble. So in order for us to move this project forward, we have to partner with cities. And it happens all the time throughout different cities. This is not something that y'all creating new. This happens all the time.
Rajabi, again, addressing the city council yesterday and laying out a lot of the passions that he has and the desires he has, and in particular talking quite a bit here about the atmosphere on Springfield, what Springfield is, and how he feels about Springfield, considering how many times that he's gone forward in front of the city council to propose something, but has found brick walls all along the way.
This town is still such a lovely town. It has a lot of potential, but you guys are losing population. Your youth is moving out of town. You don't have developers lined up to come and develop in this town. And a $58 million development is not something that's small. It's huge. It will create amazing density downtown. And during this whole election thing, my name, my company's name, my employees were all like a boxing ring. Like, you guys are just, it just wasn't nice. This isn't right. And for the record, please write this down, the reporters. For the record, Tower Capital Group and Wyndham Hotel owes the city $0. I paid the city $1.5 million to make whole, and I got the release of lien. So for anyone out there, keep making an announcement that I owe the city $200,000. I don't. We had an agreement, and I paid exactly the amount that was agreed upon. So I would appreciate you guys stop doing that. I'm not sure. I see you smiling.
Because this is insulting.
It's not insulting.
It is.
If you,
No.
everybody would, let's have order, please.
It's not insulting. I'm expressing
Just
to you,
discuss.
it's citizens, right? My team, my staff decided to come with me today, right? You guys represent Springfield. I think Springfield deserves, when you have developers coming in here to do projects, when you say no to this project, you're saying no not just to my team. You're saying no to, obviously, me, but you're saying also no to all the construction guys. I spoke to Aaron this morning, and I have no problem signing a PLA. We did the Starbucks with PLA.
Project
You guys
labor
would not
agreement.
have a Starbucks if it wasn't for me. And if you want to take it personal, I'm sorry, but we got to rise above that. We got to get the politics out of this. This needs to stop. And I'm not going to be bringing this back in front of you guys, but I advise you guys, for the next developer that comes to your town, let's not do this again, because otherwise your town will continue to lose population.
Rajabi, again, letting his voice heard on how he feels about Springfield, how he feels he's been treated. Then we get various alder people chiming in here, including Springfield Alderman Joe McMiniman, who shares his voice.
In my opinion, it's not the city council at this point, but the voters weighed in yesterday. And the voters voted in by a tight margin a new mayor. And when a new mayor comes in, he brings a new city attorney, he brings a new economic development director, new top advisors, new deputy mayor. And so that team is going to weigh in on what this proposal is all about. And so you're being forced again to kind of wait, and you're losing patience. And I'm sorry this is happening, because Springfield wants to have a good reputation and welcome developers. And this would be basically your fourth rejection. I think this last rejection is more from just circumstances beyond our control at this point, because we've got a new mayor coming in. I think Mayor Langfelder has tried again. And I don't think this is any fault of Mayor Langfelder. And so I just want to apologize on behalf of Springfield. I wasn't born or raised here. I respect those that come in from out of town and get treated well here. And I'm sorry that you're in between a rock and a hard place at this point in time.
McMiniman continues to share his concerns.
Now Wyndham is on their plate. Now Wyndham is on their watch.
New mayor.
Now Wyndham is their responsibility.
So, again, this whole idea of a new city council, a new mayor that's going to be taking over at City Hall, That's some of the things you're hearing about, delaying projects, delaying decisions, and so on. So Rajabi, he continues to address the council about his concerns, and there's even more back and forth with other Springfield alder people.
I didn't come here to start a fight. I came here to be part of your team, part of your town, because your master plan did say that you want a density downtown. And I heard Scott Dahl very loud and clear. He didn't want to lose his convention, but by Wyndham going away, he will lose his convention. Am I wrong? No, they will lose all the convention space.
What happens with this if this doesn't go through here shortly? Obviously, a lot of unanswered questions. We've heard in the past about how they want to just do Section 8 housing if they don't get the deal through. They had an outside developer come in that wanted to buy it and split up the hotel rooms to have some residential instead. And city alder people didn't like the idea of limiting the number of hotel rooms because it could limit the convention space and so on. But Rajabi continues to talk about that issue and others at last night's Springfield City Council meeting.
And it's not a threat in any way. But I wanted you guys to hear from the developer side. It costs a lot of money to operate that hotel. And at the same time, forget about all the money. The staff, they're on a roller coaster because they don't know what's going to happen one day or the other. We've been in front of you guys so many times. So let's just make a decision and move forward.
Alderwoman Purchase, she chimes in and has a bit of a back and forth with Rajabi that gets a bit heated at times.
While I appreciate that you came here today, what I don't appreciate is you initiating a text message that Alderman McMenamin just said, but when I requested to speak to you as the home alderwoman, you said you did not want to speak to me. So you want to come here and sit and talk in front of everyone on TV, but you don't want to acknowledge that you refused to do a call with me. And I'm the home, this is not for a response. I just want to do a rebuttal to what you said to make sure, since we're doing transparency, that it's been being put out here. I work hard to make sure that I'm representing downtown, and I make sure that I talk to you all, but that was just an insult that you want to initiate a text message with Alderman McMenamin this morning. No, I'm not done.
She has the floor.
Yeah.
Initiate a text message with him, but refuse to take a call from me so that I could talk to you. And I could ask you some stuff. This is not the place for me to sit here and go back and forth and ask you questions right now in front of everybody. But if you would have took my call earlier, maybe I would have been able to talk to the rest of my colleagues.
Did you actually call me? Because I didn't get a call from you.
I asked for a call to be set up. A call was made to you for us three to be on the phone, and you refused to speak to me.
No. Ryan is here. You asked for 1:30. I was on a flight at 1:30. My plane landed here at 3:30.
So obviously some consternation there between the two, and we'll hear a lot more of that coming up. Stay tuned. It is Springfield's Morning News on WMAY. The Council Roundup brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west.
With Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
Let's go. Got a few more clips here from last night's Springfield City Council meeting. Council Roundup brought to you by Head West Subs. Al Rajabi there to talk about the Wyndham City Center and continued back and forth he had with Alderwoman Lakeisha Purchase last night.
And you coming and talking like that, you really think something is going to happen?
No.
We got to have respect up here and decorum.
I don't.
And this is your third time. This is your third time
I'm not here for
here.
confrontation. I'm not here for confrontation. I just wanted to come here and tell you guys what I think. And if you want to take it personal,
so
you know,
Mr. Rajabi,
yes, sir.
If the ordinance comes back, I guess it sounds like the will of the council is to wait till the new city council takes effect. Are you open to that? I mean, that would be probably the
it doesn't sound like
the
it doesn't
first
sound
meeting
like
in
the
May,
city
probably.
wants me here, Mayor.
What's that?
It doesn't sound like the city wants me here.
No, we
it
want
doesn't
you
sound
here.
like
We
the
want
city
That's not
wants this development to happen, because we've been here many times.
I can safely say we want you here. We want the Wyndham here, or the Marriott. I mean, that's what you had planned.
Oh, that reminds me.
150 rooms with the up to 200 market rate.
And the conversation continued last night. You had Alderwoman Purchase.
We are in support of this.
Talk about the support she has, but other alder people, Alderwoman Conley, raising issue with how many times this project has changed in just the past few months, let alone the past year.
We just have to weigh our options, because when we do something for you, it's going to be expected to do it for others. So we're just taking time to vet it when you have others coming forward just like you.
Right, I understand. But
and that's what
and here's Alderwoman Conley.
I'd like to remind you This project has gone through multiple iterations. At one point, you stood up here and said if we didn't approve what you wanted, you were going to do Section 8 subsidized housing in that hotel. So I think we need to just be kind of open and honest about the different conversations we've had around this project.
Right. So the question, though, ultimately is going to be, what is Rajabi going to do? Is he going to bring this back in front of the incoming Mayor-elect Misty Buscher? Here is Rajabi last night with the final word for the council roundup this week.
Mayor-elect Buscher, your background is banking, so you're very well aware of how the banks are tidying up. They're not just giving out money left and right for big box hotels. It's a whole new reality, and we just have to be aware of it.
So what are we going to see happen with this? It's going to be interesting. We'll definitely follow it for you here with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY. That is the Council Roundup. An extended version, one extra segment for you just because there's so much there going on. And coming up next, expected to be joined by Springfield Mayor-elect Misty Buscher, and we'll talk about these issues and more. So stay tuned. That's here with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. The Council Roundup brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head